Commissioners Court will come to order. And we've got several things on the agenda this morning, and I don't have my agenda, so anyway.
Here you go.
I had one, but I don't know what I did with it. Discuss and review jail maintenance projects and work orders. Well, you got anything for us?
We had this rain we had last week. We had a few more leaks up here, and I've addressed it with Mark, and I think Mark's reached out to Glenda on it and see if it's some warranty stuff or if it's probably not. But we're going to have to address some of the stuff up top, and then whether or not we use a professional roofer or we try to do it ourselves. But we don't want to do anything to avoid the warranty.
Contact the original roofer.
They have reached out, and those small things like that that's not covered. You gotta
I
have.
know
They want you to buy their product to repair it with.
Okay.
So, I think the driver's had several phone calls with, that company. We'll talk about it later.
the roofing material itself should be still under warranty.
Well, I'm talking about like the sealants and stuff, they want you to use certain ones or certain ones they provide.
Yeah, that's the pictures you sent me with the sealants on the roof caps and all that. That shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have separated already.
No, and that's why I sent an email to HBA to look into.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard anything back from them, so,
That shouldn't happen.
yeah. That's really the only major thing out there is those roof leaks we had with the rain over the last couple of weeks. We've ordered some, or have it on the agenda to order some more intercoms, replacement intercoms. I think we've been trying to keep 4 on hand.
Anything else, you know?
No, sir.
I'm trying to find my payroll deal here. Receive status report on salaries and overtime, probably the most important function we have.
Still a bunch of it.
I'll get mine pulled up here in just a second.
We lost one this week, but it was kind of he took the job knowing he was committed to another school, and he committed to a mortician school, and they had paid for his classes and stuff, and they wanted him to work more hours in the mortician part of it than what he could actually do working for us. So
And if fate would have it, he was probably one of the really good ones too, wasn't he?
he only worked for us a couple of weeks. He
Yeah.
came from Monte County.
Okay. Kind of the way that works sometimes.
He came over to jail school, and we were able to recruit him out of that jail school, but he'd already committed to this other
Yeah.
job.
Well, he's gonna have a built-in clientele, that's for sure.
Yeah, never ending process. I should turn mine off too. Hearing your phone ring.
Now, I'll turn it off now, and then I'll miss calls all afternoon, because
Yeah.
I forget to turn it back on. Nature of the beast. Okay, let's look over I finally found my report.
I can't see anything, I lost my contact this morning.
We've started another
Don't admit
jail
that.
school. We got 5 again in jail school again, and then we've had one that will be on this pay period that was in the hospital for 6 days, so we had 24-hour coverage with that person. So those have been killing us here lately. So
Seems like our infirmary has helped that a little bit, though.
it's helped a lot, but when we get those that just have to stay in the hospital, we just have to guard them. And 24-hour guard is pretty expensive.
Can't you just tell them, just stay put, and, you know, that doesn't work?
Yeah, no problem. Tell them no visitors, no phone calls.
No visitors.
I believe we're still 28 short in the jail,
28,
29.
with nothing on the horizon, is it?
1 or 2, 3, you know, it's still the same. No large amounts of people applying, no.
Will, what is the leakages around air conditioning units and stuff like that?
Actually, these were on the, what we call them, top seals, is that what you said they were called? Top caps, top caps?
Caps, yeah.
And, where they meet up to each other, they had a silicone seal, and those have just separated, and now the water can blow up underneath there, so.
We have a couple of overtime payments of 58 cents.
$0.58 or 5/8 of an hour.
5, is that where the machine calculates it? I figured it was.
Yeah, breaks it down to the hour. So just a little over half an hour overtime for somebody then. And I believe this pay period on the patrol side, we had a couple of critical incidents where we had people come in off duty, had to cover, we had the Dillon Isle Park, and then we had the Windthorst Road shooting, so.
Hey.
All extras in.
287's getting pretty dang heavy.
3 fatalities.
Had another one last night, yeah.
I noticed there was one in Harmony last night. That is
That's-
that's just.
There's just as many trucks go down 287 as I-20, and we talked about it with TxDOT, that this is
It's
a
amazing.
busy stretch of road.
It's amazing how much the truck drivers increased it, because I can remember the time I could drive from, say, Johnson Road in Iowa Park all the way to Wichita Falls and see 1 or 2 trucks. It's just
Solid.
as busy. But I was at a meeting this week down by Austin, and traffic in general, between here and Decatur, it's quite a bit heavier than it was 2 years ago.
They come off I-40 to Amarillo and they cut down this way going to Dallas, Houston,
Yeah.
or back to 20. And,
Just a constant stream.
yeah.
And all 3 accidents because of a disabled vehicle first, or a smaller incident first?
The first one, was a vehicle, the one that the truck rolled over, the first rollover was, I believe a vehicle was wrong way, going northbound and southbound lanes, which caused that truck to swerve. And then the people stopped to help and they got run over. And then, the second accident with that child, there was an overturned truck up at the 6 Mile cutoff, which was loaded with shrimp and got wasted, by the way. I'm pretty upset about that. And whole truckload of shrimp was,
Oh,
You said this in-
now they could have called somebody sooner,
was it frozen shrimp? or-
Yes, and they let it
Oh,
thaw
my
out there on the
goodness.
highways, like, come on, you call us, we'll
I
come
would
get
have
it.
been glad to bring a trailer.
Sure, yeah, I would have been too. And then that was the backed up traffic for that accident caused that. And then last night, I don't know what the details were though, but it was involved a semi truck again.
On the way back yesterday, south of Fort Worth, somewhere at one of those new rest areas that they built down there on 35, there was a semi that had pulled off and was going at the entrance into that thing, and the truck was laid over on its side. I guess
Oh, hey.
missed the curve or something, and it was
Rolled it
so
over.
odd. I thought, how do you turn a truck over in a rest stop? But
Well, historically, between the 6 Mile cutoff and Harmony Road, there's just been so many wrecks out there. And a lot of that coming off that 6 Mile cutoff because you have to veer back to the right.
you know,
They need to do some re-engineering of 287 out there.
well, I had thought we didn't really need the retention barriers down the center, and they were getting hit, and now you talk about job security. If you're the repair guy for the retention cable,
Yes.
you're gonna be busy every day.
Pictures of that first accident.
Hands-free driving.
Yeah.
Slowed it down some, but
It still got over.
Oh, it still got
all the way
through, yeah.
across.
yeah, but it did slow them down.
They-
So,
Was the
Is that what
person
they're
in that truck?
That's
deceased?
interesting.
No, it was, he got out,
Name.
and, it was the bystanders who stopped the help that got hit. Yeah.
Looked like he got,
My
from the cab, looked like he got hit.
Oh, yeah.
With the
Down in
cab.
Central
Yeah,
Texas.
no, they
Never
never
seen
seen him
that
out,
before.
he was, you know, he was okay, no matter injuries, it was the bystanders who, good Samaritans who stopped to help. They ended up getting hit.
Victor, on the, help me on the number here for, I don't know how to make this tie or how the sheet ties out, but we have a net pay amount, but there's a gross pay amount too, right?
Yes.
What would the gross pay amount be?
You're looking at this page, right?
I'm looking, yes, in the first, you cut what, 2 pages?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
The rows above it show all the pay codes that people get paid out of. So their salary, overtime, ARPA, whatever. If you just add all those up, it should equal the gross amount that you see there.
And it says gross 1.1,
Yes.
okay, and then but the check total, the transfer
Mhm.
is 1.3.
That accounts for health insurance, workers' comp, anything else that.
So that's not in the gross number of,
No, gross is just what we pay out to the employees.
okay. So that's everything else equals 1.3 right now is
Yes.
total, is
That's how much-
total payroll cash out and out of pocket.
Yes, that 1.3 is whatever the gen fund pays out for the employees. So you have got salaries is in there, health insurance is in there.
And that's a real fairly stable number, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes, from my tenure in payroll, it's gone up just a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I know it's higher, but it's not gonna change too.
Yeah, it doesn't change too drastically.
Commissioner Watts, that transfer amount is going to be the county's matching portion along with what we're paying the employee.
Okay,
So it's gonna have your payroll taxes and our retirement and the life insurance that the county pays for in addition to what we pay the actual employee.
okay. And then Cheryl, on that same sheet, there's transfers from the road and bridges.
Yes, that's for your employees. So road and bridge is paid out of road and bridge with all of your matching portions. All the rest of them are paid out of gen. And we do get some transfers in from CSCD and TJPC, and then there might be some occasionally from the CDA's office.
Well, our jail numbers look pretty good, 453.
It was back to 486 this morning. But it's been staying between 450 and 475 pretty consistently for the last 2 months.
Do we have a summer spike? Is
We
that-
should once it starts warming up.
That's kind of what I was thinking that was.
People's tempers seem to flare when it's hot.
Yes. Yes, they do.
So Cheryl,
Maybe a little more cold drink.
the total transfer amount is 1.5, but some of those funds are coming from different places, right?
Right, the total payroll cost is gonna be 1.5. 1.3 comes out of gen. We got law library, road and bridge, CSCD, TJPC, ARPA, some CSCD, and so those all total to 1.5. That's what the cost of actual payroll was.
Okay. Okay. And law library, what is that, Cheryl?
That's Jerry. It's in its own bank account and funds, so, because we transfer to set that up every year, and so it's gotta pay the payroll fund for Sherry's payroll.
Okay.
Cause all this gets transferred into the payroll account, and everything is paid out of the payroll account.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we will move on. Thank you, Victor, for another good job.
The longest quiet spell this court's ever had.
You need to do something controversial, Commissioner Beecham, to
Corey came in there a while ago, said he, in the office, if we needed him, that he wasn't gonna come up unless he thought there was something, and I said, hey, I saw your picture post on a tax deal about you registering at the TAC conference. He said, I didn't go to the TAC conference.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was him standing there at the registration table, and
It's an imposter. Well, they say everybody has a look-alike somewhere in the world. I sure hope I hope they're not getting in any big bad trouble. That would help. We need a legislative update. Anybody heard the latest?
That's pretty interesting read, what Tommy sent out about, those, bills that have made it across the hurdle to
What
this.
version of the property tax deal did we get?
We
I
have
never did hear. Well, I know that there's one,
working.
well, I thought they had it done last night.
Oh, well, it could have.
And I don't know which one it
saw
is. I don't know
Monday.
if it's the House or the Senate or what it is.
I don't know, Barry. Did it bring homestead,
It'll be an
exemption?
increase in homestead, but I don't know which version. Wasn't one of them 100,000?
I think 70 was where they were at right
Okay.
now. with-
Smoky mirrors.
Yeah. Victor,
Really-
thank you.
Thank you, Victor. You're right. That's the sad part.
It sounds good though.
Most dramatic property tax cut since in the history of the legislature, I heard yesterday. I don't know what it is, but it must be good.
One tax at all.
Mm. I'll find out later today. They were working on the professor tenure deal yesterday. I don't know if it's gonna, it may be going by the wayside.
What's that?
When's the last day for the legislature this year?
Saturday, isn't it?
Tomorrow or next Saturday?
It's in the next couple of days, tomorrow, or I'd have to look for sure. I think like tomorrow may be the last day of really action. They apparently have the budget done, which they've got to do. That's really all they have to do is budget. I think it's ready. But they've already said that we're gonna have a special on school choice, isn't that what I heard last day or two?
Yep.
I don't know if it's immediately or if they're gonna take a break and then come back, or, but that's looming. Vouchers, I think that's what it is. Costs a lot of money to run a railroad, doesn't it?
Railroad.
Well, just a figure of speech. There's our wheelchairs, they're on here this time. Oh no, that's just an office chair. It said wheelchairs.
Wheelchairs have already been delivered, so I understand. Courthouse is next.
EDA.
And we had
Green
problem
and
with
canary
somebody out of the building
card stock.
on the third floor that couldn't walk on their own power. That was a medical issue.
Maybe they just left their appraisal's office. Couldn't walk.
I need a pair of glasses up here. I can blow up so many bells to read them.
I've had to wear Nancy's before when I'm running. You have to hold them just right to get them to,
I don't know what happened, I just lost my contacts. Somewhere in there.
Both of them? Or
I
just?
only wear one.
Oh,
I
okay.
wear one to read.
So if we see you going,
Yeah,
we shouldn't be concerned, okay?
yeah.
It's not
I
true.
can't read.
Yeah.
It's just blur.
It's not sexual harassment if you mean sexual.
You gone?
I've had all this fun I can take for a day.
No.
Thank you, Will.
well, I'll flip y'all that what I'm holding, and
Okay.
let y'all make the call.
Okay, sounds good.
And we've got rain in the forecast like nearly every day next week.
I can't believe lakes haven't come with any more than they have. Especially where the storms have been concentrated, and they seem to be hitting in all the right places.
We're just, for some reason, we're not running a bunch of water.
Is it, Gary, you know more about this than probably anyone, is it, are we capturing so much of the surface runoff for ag use?
Well, yeah, because all the ponds are dry. See, you gotta fill all the ponds upstream before a lot of that comes down the eye. And see, we're still, I've got, but I think every pond I got at the farm is still way low. We're still a long ways from having them full. They fill, they run around, and you get all that stuff down the stream. That's where the big bulk of the water comes from. So we've been through such a dry spell, everything is empty. So it takes a little longer to get it filled up than it would if we were sitting there 2/3 full, and then you top them off and run them around. So it's, yeah, it's a good observation. That's exactly what's happened. And the dry weather was more concentrated west of us, which is the way our water comes from anyway. And that makes it more difficult, but it's tough. We'll get there if it keeps coming, but it's, I know been trying to re-level my yard, and I've done it 3 times now. Every time I get it done, the rain comes and washes it away, so I'm gonna put some sod down or something to hold it. That's all right, I'm not complaining, let it rain. We can get more dirt. Central Texas, driving through there yesterday, going to a meeting and back, looks like Iowa. Corn is solid, about 4 foot tall, and it looks good. They've had some rain through Hillsborough and down in that country. Just beautiful.
Yeah, they're getting all the rain east of us.
Yeah, East Texas screaming, they're too dry, can't get anything done. I talked with a friend of mine yesterday. He didn't get all his corn planted because it's just too wet. He said they've really been in the spring trying to get something done. Too dry or too wet? Somebody asked me one time, a long time ago, it was a new meteorologist that had come to the television station. He says, tell me about ag weather. I said, it's pretty simple. I said, if it's raining, it's too wet. If it's not, it's too dry. He said, when is it just right? I said, very, very seldom. But it does get there. We do get there from time to time.
Last night, it's just dry, is it?
Yeah. Just right.
Guys, I was looking at that, on payroll dollars, the, double check.
Hey, what's all the fireworks we've been doing? Is that graduation stuff? There's been
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them the last.
Yeah, he's done Ryder and Old High, and then, I don't know, 'tis the
They do them, they
season.
did them at the stadium, didn't they? I couldn't tell for sure. I thought that's where it was
Yeah.
coming from.
Just roughly, just off a penny, 1.93 cents, pays payroll in Road and Bridge. The rest of it, 1.63 cents, left for everything else. So that which equates to just roughly 1.4 million.
Well, what's
Rounded, so you kind of get that concept.
what's that same breakdown on counties in general? It'd be close, wouldn't it? Or, no, I bet it's a little.
In county, it's about 30, if you take the 1,000,003 that Cheryl was talking about and run it out, you know, you've got 385. Now, these are just ballpark numbers, but, you know, that's 34 million out of a $58 million, and it really is not 58 million, but the $34 million in payroll, and if you take, just using this math, 62 cents times 900 is 62. And I'm rounding heavy, so that's 55,800,000. So everything left over, subtract 34, you got 21 million left to do everything else with.
So
And
payroll
the-
getting up close, that's about 2/3, isn't it? Yeah, right. I look at that right.
Yeah, it was probably, that's probably the way it
Close.
generally would be.
And is that gross or net? Is that gross
That's-
payroll with all the?
Yeah,
payments?
that's everything. It's higher than that, but some monies flow from a different direction, like Road and Bridge.
Right.
But,
Oh, yeah, that's not in that
yeah,
number.
but, you know, if you think about the sheriff's office and the jail, it pretty much consumes the rest of that 21 million.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, what is it, Corey, in the budget in 23? 560, 561.
I'm actually pulling that right now. So for the general fund though, we budgeted about $35.8 million for salary and benefits for just the general fund.
And that's right on, yeah, that'd be about,
It's pretty close, yeah.
Where's the jail? Let's see, for the jail, we budgeted $10.5 million just for the jail, for payroll and benefits. For 23.
what was for, but the total budget, Cheryl, for the jail was what?
The total budget for the jail is going to be, let's see, $16.4 million.
So another 6 million.
Yeah, they're about $6 million in just supplies and operations, so that's gonna be all the food, medical, all of that falls under there.
And that's not a payment, is it, Cheryl?
Is that what?
That's not the note payment though, is it?
No, that's not the note
Okay.
payment. This is just the operations of the
Just
jail.
operation, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my 55 million I'm talking about includes the INS rate too.
That's true.
Yeah, so you gotta back that out and it,
Yeah. It
it
is
drops it
two-thirds,
down to
yeah.
50.
So our operating capital is not that high.
No, it's not.
Once you pass payroll,
Yeah, just food for thought as you're thinking through the budget time.
Cheryl, there was some talk this week with the debt ceiling negotiations in DC.
That's correct. The ARPA clawback is still on the table as a negotiating tool for that debt ceiling.
That's what I was just asking, because that was mentioned that there was some COVID funds, and I wondered if that included ARPA.
Yes, ARPA is still on the table. I'm not sure how much of that's gonna stay.
Right.
But I think what they're trying to aim in is the funds that are unencumbered, so we just need to make sure that we've encumbered everything, and really, we're pretty close to having everything encumbered. That Patton Hammond Road project that fell through kinda, changed that just a little bit. There's only a minor amount left, so we just need to make sure we get it encumbered and get it contracts signed to formally encumber it, and, I think we'll be still good to go.
ASAP, I would say, good.
Yeah, we're only missing 2 contracts, I think, right now. I think it's the ambulances for Electra and, the Charlie Ferris sculpture contract.
and I'm meeting with them next week, so that's moving.
Yeah, the last number that we have, planned to give them was 150,000. I know that they came back and said that they may need to ask for more. If they're going to ask for more, they need to get that done.
Okay, I'll communicate that next week.
Be good to have that done, see if we've got any crumbs to sweep up
Right.
at the end, and,
I wanna get that all tidied and encumbered and reported that it's been encumbered and start,
'cause there may
before
be,
they,
there may be a couple little projects out there that we could,
yeah.
we
But
could
there are
look at.
many counties across the nation, and states and whatever who are just sticking their ARPA funds in the bank and collecting interest, and they haven't actually done anything with it. And I think that's really what's drawing this attention, is that if you're not gonna use the money, why have it?
Good point.
I do think that that's one of those misnomers even about our county, is that a lot of, I think, our public thinks we're using taxpayer dollars to do all the renovations we're doing, when that's not really the case. We're using this federal grant money to do these projects that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Well, it was a tremendous opportunity for us, because we were facing some of those things anyway and desperately needed it, so it came along at a great time. And if there is,
Sure, so then we don't have to tax the taxpayers for it.
if there is a good time to print more money, like, I probably need to reference that.
There's no real good time for
There's
that.
no real good time for that. If you remember your economics from school, it's not a great thing, but I heard an astonishing number, and this would affect probably our treasurer's department more than anything else, and this has been probably a couple of months ago. And I wish I could remember the exact numbers, but it was a tremendous amount, and they said there is still a tremendous amount of personal COVID money that was sent out that got deposited in savings account that is still there and not necessarily in the economy. I mean, it was, to me, it was a staggering amount. I wish I could remember the amount of it. People didn't need the checks, they got it, they put them back in their savings account, and they're still laying there.
Right.
Which would tell me when that begins to roll out would be a trigger for more inflation. And I think that's
Yes.
what the discussion was, is that they don't know for sure how much of that stuff is there, but they don't think it's near all been circulated, which would be more dollars chasing fewer goods, and that might be something to watch over the next couple of
Yeah,
years.
I think that's part of the case with the ARPA, is it's just sitting in someone's bank account with no plans to use it. Like, we've at least planned, we're just, you know, still moving through. We haven't, you know, the work has to be done before I can spend it and pay the bill, so until the work is done, we can't really do that. And some of our biggest projects are just now getting started, like the Wichita Water Valley line
Right,
and the radio towers.
right.
I mean, Mark spent all his 10 million, but
I was trying to do my part.
Making a hand. Anything else on the bills? Corey looks like he's got something much more exciting to do than this. Well, if our HR director could just go find us about 25 tables, everything would be good.
Keep looking.
Keep looking.
Our graduation's going on.
Where else are we in pretty good shape, or where else are we still?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Good.
Attorneys are hard to find.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, it's, yeah, we're good. I can't think of any. Bond office is still looking for somebody that, I think she'd like 2 people if she can find them, but it's the weekends, having to work the weekends kind of.
I still have seen lots of advertisements for, correctional officers with, the state, so you know, and going to these meetings, we talk to other commissioners, I don't know of anybody that's fully
Right.
staffed right now, so
Yeah.
that's just an ongoing deal. Something we'll have to work through,
It's lovely that the state can pay a sign-in bonus,
yeah.
Mhm.
and we have to compete with that. We can't do that.
Aren't they paying about $1 more an hour too?
The last time I looked, they were pretty close.
Are they?
It's been a year or so.
Okay, that it? Very good. We